Welcome to the Psychic Traineeship. I'm your host, Gabrielle, better known as Gabs, and I'm a psychic medium, trance channeler, and psychic development teacher. And I help women all around the world reconnect to their divine, intuitive feminine and become certified psychics, Akashic record readers, and healers, all through my program called the Psychic Traineeship. So if you're ready to activate your inner psychic, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about all things intuitive, psychics, mediums. We're going to be talking to special guests. We're going to be talking about astrology, numerology, human design, talking about what it's like to truly live a psychic life and how easy it gets to be, and how good it is when you're connected to your spirit team and how easy life flows. So if you're ready to quantum leap into your most intuitive selves, let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's dive in to this week's episode. Hello, my love. Welcome to this week's podcast. I am so excited for this topic. I've been getting so many downloads about this topic because if you didn't know, I'm in the midst of starting to write my book, which is something Spirit has told me for many years I would do, and for many years I didn't believe it. And now maybe it's possible. So I'm going to put pen to paper more often and see what happens without too much making it have to happen. I'm just going to let it flow. We're going to see if it gets written. I'm really excited. But today I am here to talk about waking up in the matrix versus waking up to oneness. Now, before we dive into this concept, I want to let you know there's a lot of things we can wake up to in our life. Millions and millions of things we can wake up. We can wake up to seeing the school system is different, and we can wake up to seeing the healthcare is different, and we can wake up and see how our society acts. We might not enjoy it, but sometimes we wake up to the matrix. Now, those things some people believe are part of the matrix. The matrix in its true definition for me, as how I've channeled it and understood it, the matrix is many things. And for some people, they believe the matrix is the governmental structures and the belief systems we have learnt from the previous generation. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying anyone's wrong here. These are just how I can only articulate it. Then we've got people who believe the matrix is just the 9 to 5, which also fits in with the previous belief, right? But we also have people who believe the matrix is governed by a head hierarchy system, and some people wake up to that as well, and deep conspiracy theories and all of this. And I've woken up to so many of this, and I've fallen off the bandwagon of some of it, and I've stayed with some of it, right? But I've never heard anyone have this conversation, and God, I wish I heard this conversation 5 years ago on my spiritual journey, because I woke up to the matrix hard, and I'm going to tell you my story. So I woke up to the matrix probably in 2017 when I got hit by a car. And it was the crux of my spiritual awakening, and that's how I became a medium. And it just happened in a millisecond, and I felt like I'd never been free, because I just connected to spirit, and now I knew there was a world outside of the world that I was seeing, and I knew that what the world I was seeing was shrouded in limitation. And I saw so many shadows really instantly, like walking into the store, like, holy shit, my food's covered in crap, pesticides. And I realized the governmental greed and how do big companies not pay taxes, but the small man does. This makes no sense. Why are we so trapped in? Why? I felt it straight away, because I felt this connection from my grandmother, right? And I felt that she loved me so much. And I forgot almost what that love had felt like in my life at that time of my accident. I was so depressed. I was so overweight. I was so anxious. I had PTSD from my childhood that I was only just becoming aware of, and not even consciously. I just mean unconsciously. I was just starting to become aware of it. And ultimately, I felt like there were no good decisions because everyone was out to get me. The government was out to get me to pay my taxes. The food industry was out to make me get cancer. The medicines weren't even helping me. I didn't trust if I was healthy because I didn't know who to turn to anymore. I was in such a lost and confused place. And then to have that accident on the freeway, and I'd just been let out of hospital the day before, I had multiple ovarian cysts. And it was my first ever deepest awakening. And man, I was miserable for months from that awakening. I was so miserable. I cried my eyes out as if letting out sadness I didn't even know that I had held in my body. I don't even know if at the time I was conscious. And I think sometimes for many people's first deep spiritual awakening, right? For their first deep true one, you don't know what's happening. You don't know. And it's really fucking scary the first time. But I can guarantee I'm on my 6th or 7th one now. And I can navigate it with so much ease because I eventually stopped just waking up to the matrix. And I'm going to explain to you how I did this, why I did this, and how good this is for your life. Because really, once I started waking up to oneness, which maybe happened 3 years ago, did I start to receive the small codes. And I mean 2 minutes, microseconds of unconditional love and 4 seconds of unconditional love. And then it built up over time, right? And I mean, like when I was outside on a walk and you see that beautiful sunset, I mean, I held that sunset for like 4 minutes of joy without being like, oh, I should move on. It's like, oh my God, can I be with this full alignment? Look how beautiful this is. I can see why I put myself here. Fuck, this is cool. I wish so and so could see this. Like, oh my goodness. I need to be living my life a little bit more, is what it always brought up to me. And I was like, okay, well, what a weird fucking statement. And at the time, like I was in my soul business. I was in my soul's purpose. I fucking love my purpose. I love that I wake up and I talk to intuitive queens from America and the UK and Australia. And I'm living in Thailand. I fucking love my life because I just get to hold joy and hold oneness every single day by connecting to my spirit guides. And that has been my biggest life lesson, right? That I didn't wake up the first time to higher frequencies. I woke up to what I was awake, but actually asleep in. I woke up to reality the first time. I woke up to see how much I had to heal. I woke up to see how fucking hard it is. I woke up to see that I was fucking miserable in hopes that I would do something about it. And the first spiritual awakening is so fucking hard because you realize you've got to do something about it. Right? And maybe you might even have 2 or 3 or 4 of these. I know people who have more. Right? I guess I haven't had as many. I don't know if I even want to say this, but I feel like my lessons have definitely diminished compared to the anguish I used to feel. I never go back there, but I can hold deep shit. Like I'm holding so much shit right now. So much. Like I've got a illness that we don't know when's going away. Like this morning, I got up and my nervous system was a wreck from my illness, and I was just in fight or flight. Like, I'm having some deep miscommunications with people. My company has grown 50% in the last month. I have a team of 3 people who I dearly love and get to honestly have incredible conversations with, who get to reflect back to me the incredible work I'm doing and get to support me in my mission, and nothing's better. But I'm still holding all of that. And I know I didn't have the capacity to hold what I'm holding right now a year ago, 2 years ago, and especially not in my first awakening. And that's why I just woke up to seeing how bad it was. And boy, I would never want to go back there. Fuck, that was dark. And I mean, like, it actually isn't dark looking back on it now. I just didn't love myself because no one had ever shown me how to love myself. Because once you love yourself, you become magnetic to the universe, right? Because what happens is your unconditional oneness starts to open naturally, right? And you become this flow of divine energy. And this is what people mean when they're in the flow of living. Everything is coming towards you and you feel like you're working on absolutely nothing. Now, I know this sounds too good to be true, but it's not. So once I started to receive these codes 4 years ago, right? It was in small increments and they grew and grew and grew and grew and grew until I became able to hold joy for maybe like 2 to 3, 4 hours at a time. And this was probably, I'm only working deeper and deeper on how amazing my emotional intelligence is and how good I am at getting myself out of being panicked. Right? Because this illness is literally like I wake up and I'm having a histamine reaction, which means I'm having an allergic reaction to myself or to something I've eaten or to the grass outside. Gosh, if only we could really narrow it down. But I'm having a reaction to something. So imagine how my nervous system feels. It feels like I've been stung by poison ivy. And all I can do in this point is meditate. It's absolutely fucked. But I also am really grateful for the experience because I have learned to regulate my nervous system 7 times faster. And it's now 7 times easier. And it's like, oh, dude, like, you're stressed. Like, your heart is racing, bro. Like, let's go to a temple and meditate. And I don't know if you caught my stories on Instagram, but I shared this. And I've also got an email sequence going out about the dark night of the soul right now. So you're going to want to be on my email list because it's fucking juicy. Like, I'm talking about things like why spirit and sex go together, why energy work is so important, why I did a 21-day juice cleanse, why I'm going to do another one, and honestly, how that shifts my life. So you want to be on my email list if you're not, because there's some juicy, juicy stuff coming your way, queen. So then I could start to hold this joy. And that joy, that level of joy, if you look on a vibrational scale, which was created by Jerry and Esther Higgs, the trance channelers, the one channel, they're one channel. Esther Hicks is the channel. But when I started to feel this, I started to get more high vibrational beings coming in. My mediumship got easier in the last couple of months because my nervous system has been so calm. So many people ask me, like, I'm so disconnected. Why is that? And like, the actual only answer is your nervous system. Because, dude, if you were chill, you would be connected as fuck. Right? But because you're highly strung, you're super busy, because you're rushing, because you had these beliefs the matrix has given you, right? And it's not your fault, it's conditioning for a lot of us, right? It has told you you're not enough. And you've forgotten that you are enough. And that you have enough and there is enough time. And that is one of the biggest shadows. I wrote an email that's going out in the next couple of weeks on my biggest shadow about time. Oh my gosh, guys, you need to read it. Like, it is just me doing my shadow work in front of you. Like, whew, I had to do so many SEP rituals and psychic path works, which are my two modalities in shadow work that I created, my own unique methodology in there. And it just absolutely transmuted these shadows for me in just days. And I like talking through that process was just so incredible. And now that I am connecting to these higher frequencies, including the frequency that's helping me write my book, I for years have been trying to get to the frequency to write my book. Like it's such a fucking high frequency I've got to be at, right? I've got to be able to hold joy and love and ease or neutrality and know that when I drop, that my default answer is, okay, cool, I'm going to take care of myself. This is what I've got to do right now, because I don't deserve to live in this place, because this here can be your heaven on earth. This here can be your awakening. This here can be your playground. You chose to incarnate on this earth for joy, for ease, for love, for these vibrations, because you and I and every incarnation have been really working hard at our evolution of humanity to get to this level of joy, to have done the emotional intelligent work, to do the self-belief system work, to heal, right? And every generation has done so good at doing that, including whatever generation you and I are. Right? We've done so good. We're doing all we can. And I'm so freaking proud of every single incarnation I've ever experienced, because now we are at the anchor of joy. Right? And what does that mean? You're going to start to see so many people start to channel and channel, just like I do, because what that means is you can tap into your highest, most intuitive self. Now, what does your higher self really mean? Your higher self is your ultimate potential and your oversoul. The oversoul remembers all that you are and all you have the potential for. And if you, like me, can tap into that frequency and ask, hey babe, what should I do today? It probably sounded horrible, but that's actually how I talk to her in my head. Right? And then the answer follows. But when we're low vibrational, we're asking a question to the universe. But when we are, and once we have claimed how incredible we are, how we work with our energy, our emotions, our energy in motions are our emotions. And once we understand that everything is connected through this oneness that our guides gives us, that I am my brother, I am my sister, I am my best friend, I am my mother, I am my father, I am one incarnation. The whole planet is one incarnation, one experience to know oneself deeply. The experience of we are every incarnation. When we leave this planet, we can watch every incarnation from our memory bank, right? And that's what Akashic Records readings do. Like when I tap in for someone's Akasha in a reading that you guys can book, I literally am going to watch all of the souls, every soul, but your soul, and bring through the lifetimes that you've incarnated into what we call recently, but what are the most energetically attuned past lives where you're still living out those patterns in this lifetime are what I call in for you. I don't use the words of recent lifetimes because I know we're so fucking infinite. Right? So now that we know there's this rise of channelers coming, now that we know there is this huge evolutionary change coming, and we're all going to become channelers because we're all going to connect to our higher self and ultimately start to bring ourselves joy, there's going to be a drop in money. And we already saw that in COVID. And what I mean by that is the importance of money seemed to drop. It's not right now, but it's coming back up. It's getting really important again with all of the big things happening in the world, right? But we saw that people didn't want to be hired, especially in Australia. Don't forget that that's where I'm from. We really struggled to hire employees. Everyone wanted to take a break. Everyone cared more about their health. That's coming back, guys. We're going to be in a different era. And if you want to get into that level of joy and that level of ease, you can come and join the Psychic Traineeship, where I teach you all of this and I teach you how to channel your own methodology. I teach you how to create courses. I teach you how to be your own healer, and you leave my certification, right? Regardless, with 3 certifications to become a psychic healer, to become a psychic reader, and to read the Akashic records. Plus, you could just turn out like Kylie. I did an episode with my beautiful, beautiful client, Kylie, and she came up with her own methodology about light language. And if you missed this episode, I think you should go back and listen to it. It's literally like 4 episodes above this one. I can only see it in my iTunes brain. I'm seeing iTunes in my head, and I think it was about 4 episodes ago, right? You can do anything when you're connected to your higher self. But when you are in states of fear and panic and questioning to the universe instead of yourself, it is a hard place to be, and I will never say that it isn't. Because when you're awake in the matrix, still living without that connection to oneness, without that connection to spirit and source, it can still feel incredibly draining. And I felt that wow, I can't even speak. I felt that for so many years, so much pain. I was in so much pain, awake in the matrix, disconnected from these levels of joy, even though I was connected to my guides at this time and I could get little bits of joy from them. I constantly unconsciously pushed my guides away because I couldn't accept their love, and I couldn't accept life could be this good, and I couldn't accept unconditional love because it was the biggest fear in my life. What if I get love, and what if I lose it and it hurts? Sorry guys, I'm gonna cry. It is my biggest fucking fear. And I had to work on that for years. And now I help so many people in the traineeship, in my psychic traineeship, understand that it's so normal to feel these ways. I know my guide is there, but I can't talk to them. It's actually an us problem, and it has to do with our ability to hold big amounts of fucking energy, because energy and trauma feel very similar because they're both emotions in the body. So when you meet with your guides, it can feel almost like trauma to our system, because you're holding big loads of love and joy, and you start to convulse, and we have kriyas, and we start to move because our spirit guides are pushing love into our body gently, but to us it feels like millions and millions of molecules of love, too much love. And that energy they're putting into us gently is starting to wash out all the negative energy like a sponge, right? So you're naturally healing every time you connect to your spirit team, which is so freaking cool, right? Have you ever heard of a modality where it gets to be that simple? Well, that's my truth, and that's what I teach, right? Life is good. Life gets to be good. And if it isn't there for you yet, I want you to know it can be. And I have full faith you can get it there. Yes, you're going to have to do some work maybe on your nervous system or on your belief system or on your mindset to get you there. But if you want to be truly intuitive, that's what you'll do. Because the unconditional love, the knowing, the understanding, and the peace you feel from being psychic when everything just makes sense is unlike a gift I could give to anyone. So, I hope this episode inspired you. I hope it taught you something. I'm so honored to have you listen. If you want to book a reading with me, you can head to my website. But otherwise, I do have my free psychic clarity masterclass this month, right? It doesn't quite have the right name yet, but Spirit's still in the works. But that's this month, so that's absolutely free. It's a 2-hour masterclass, so come and see, all of you around. Come and hear what wisdom there is to be found. Oh, I love when my spirit guides just chime in and rhyme. So if you want to come and join us, it's absolutely for free. I'm going to give you some of my magic. We're going to have so much freaking fun. We're going to tap into our intuition together. All the info's on my website. So head to gabriellebentley.com and just look for the word free activations. And then you're going to sign up to the community for this podcast. You're going to listen and meet fellow listeners and people in my community who are also going to be soul sisters for you, because so many like-minded souls come together from all over the world, and it's just such a blessing. So I hope you can enjoy the party with me. So until next week, stay intuitive, stay inspired, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey, gorgeous soul. I just wanted to take a moment and say a heartfelt thank you for tuning into this podcast. Your energy and your presence, it means the world to me. If you've been enjoying these podcasts, I have a small favor to ask, and it only takes a few minutes, but it makes a huge difference. If you would leave a review or share your thoughts, it would help us find our tribe and continue spreading this beautiful, empowering work. Your feedback helps more like-minded souls discover our community, and it inspires me to keep creating content that resonates deeply with you. So if you're feeling the love, please hit that review button. Let's grow this community together, continue to uplift, inspire, and transform. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey with me. I can't wait to connect with you again in the next episode. But until then, I want to remind you there is a community here. If you jump to my website, join our community, come to the free monthly activations or masterclasses. And don't forget, in the community hub, there is a question and answers channel. And if you've ever wanted a podcast on a specific thing, or you've wanted to drop a question, go drop it in there. I want to make this podcast specifically for you. I want you to learn what you want to know, and I want you to become the best psychic you can be. And I'm just along for the journey. So go drop your questions, and I'm going to see you next week.